Hey, good afternoon. So we're back here on the Z. Today's job, finish off the battery relocation. I've just gone and got a new battery and a battery box. You can get them from the auto shop. And it's half done. So I have to apologise for some of the slack content that's been in this Z episode, but you know what, we gotta clean stuff and we gotta get it all laid out before we get into the wholesome content, and I apologise for that. And today is going to be our battery relocation. All right, so hopefully that's a little bit more interesting and I can teach you something and you can learn from my mistakes as usual. So here's the battery relocation, right? This is where it used to be, in this space here. The previous owners set up these nice little jump start posts for me here, and we've just run cables from them down to the boot to meet up with where our battery is going to go. Now, I've just had a look, and right here where I want this battery to go, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 screws already. Now, to save catastrophe and drilling new ones and drilling through the fuel tank, I think we're just going to use them. 1, 2, 3, 4. And there's our fuel tank right there, so you know, might have dodged a bullet. Let's hook in, eh? So I just thought, while I'm having a bit of a lay down underneath the back of the Z here, I might point this out. Now, from what I know about this, let me just see if you can get it there. So you've got the diff, that's the rear diff you're looking at there. And can you see the hydraulic cylinder above that? That actually goes out to a set of tie rods on the rear wheels, right? So this is called HICAS, H-I-C-A-S. And what that is four-wheel steering. How cool is that? I think it's something like, if you're over 60 k's an hour, it'll turn the rear wheels 5 degrees. So it just makes for like unreal quick, darty lane changes and that type of thing. So that's something Nissan came up with back in the 80s. And, you know, turned out to be some pretty wicked technology that, you know, hypercars and that use today. Probably a lot better technology in them, but I mean, you know, Nissan was the first a long time ago, and just shows. Now, by the way, if I do come up with a little history lesson on something like the HICAS, the four-wheel steering or something like that, that's just going to be something I'm familiar with, all right? I'm not a Wikipedia page, but if someone's done some reading on it, research on it, and knows a bit more about it, if I'm wrong about any of it as well, feel free to correct me in the comments, because that's what it's all about. It's all about learning, and it's certainly not about knowing everything. So definitely feel free to jump in the comments, and we'll catch up with that information on a later episode, and you know, set it straight. So yeah, let's do a bit of a knowledge share during these episodes, if you're following. Anyway, I've just put this battery box in place about where I want to sit it, and I've got the little red paint pen. I'm just going to jump underneath the Z again. Sorry about my wild camera moves here. Got my paint pen that I'm just going to... how am I going to film this? I've actually pulled the guts out of my paint pen so I can fit it in the holes. Fits perfectly in the hole and draws on the bottom of the box. So one there, one there. I'm really sorry if I'm not filming this correctly. This is some bloody filmmaker acrobatics right now. One there. Oh, this one right down in the corner. Can I get it? Yes, I can get it. Hopefully my little felt tip hasn't run out of paint. It's made a hell of a mess on my fingers. Well, let's see how that went. I'll just I'll put this back in now, save any more mess. Just goes back in there. Don't worry, I'm not bleeding. No fingers were harmed in the making of this. And what do we got? 4 red dots. Yes! Nailed it. So here we are, 4 holes. They're drilled off center, but look, this is more about how the box sits as opposed to the rest of the interior than it is about how the holes look from inside the battery box, right? Because I don't think the battery's going to care. A couple of mud flap washers, chuck the bolts back in, and that's that. So here's something that I thought might happen. What I thought might happen is that these screws, that by self-tapping panel screws, would suck, and they do suck. So in the interest of not having, in the event of an accident, a battery flying at some of the occupants, we're going to nut and bolt them. So that sort of brings me to, I guess, having a little bit of a think about safety when we do this. So to stop those bolt heads from rubbing through the bottom of the battery, there's going to be a piece of rubber in there. You'll see that as I fit it all. And then we're going to go around and we're going to fill in all these gaps like this, because as you can see, if our battery cables rub on that sharp edge for long enough, guess what? We got a fire. We don't want a fire. The other thing is, we don't have a circuit breaker in the system yet, so that's going to be a large circuit breaker mounted out here. I'm going to see if I can find about a 350 amp circuit breaker. Should be able to carry the starter current for this thing. It did on my 180SX, so we're going to do that again. So they're just a couple of things you got to think about. You know, I got a bit excited when those holes lined up and thought, wham bam, thank you ma'am, whip it in, whip it out and wipe it, we've got a battery box in. No good. You got to think about these things. You don't want someone getting hurt. Okay, bolts are in, nuts are on the bottom. I'm just feeding through this safety belt before we tighten them up. Bring him out the other side. Now that holds the lid on, battery in. Here we go, world's smallest rattle gun. Upper. Sent home. Tight. Now let's have a look. Let's make sure everything looks good from underneath. 1, 2, 3. Oh, we've lost the nut. Oh dear, I'll have to get that on. Lucky I checked. Okay, can verify that all 4 are in now. So that there is going to protect the bottom of our battery from any bolt heads rubbing through it. Said battery in the box. Just give you a quick mock-up, show you how it's going to look. And chuck the lid on. These little side parts here are where the cables come out, obviously. So we'll just sit that on there and strap him down, and that's how it's going to look. Next thing, we'll pack up those gaps. Okay, here's how we make a gap safe. This is expander foam of some sort, just from the hardware shop, about $8, cheapest tin I could find. Fill her in there. Fill her in there. Okay, that's that. That is safe. Obviously going to clean that up a little bit. I'll let it, I don't know, maybe I'll let it go a bit dry and tacky and just chip it away, or I could probably just scoop it up now while it's like whipped cream, but either way we'll tidy that up before the floor goes down. But we know none of these are going to rub on anything once that goes hard, so that's safe. So this expander foam come with a set of garbage bag gloves in the cap, hiding in there. So they're perfect. I'm just going to tidy that mess up, and we can see it's not touching on any edges. That's going to go nice and hard for us now. That's good. Oh, I just got to chuck this out. So that's about it for battery relocation. That's hiding nice and neatly under the carpet here. I'll probably cut that out so it sits down properly, but for now I'm happy with how that is. See, I'm mucking around with a few seals at the same time, so the boot's a mess, but there we go, that's a battery relocation. So I'll give you a little bit of a peek into what I'm up to for the next episode. I've got a bit of underbody coating, and I'm just blackening everything that sits inside this quarter panel here. So the reason for that is the body kit showed up, and these are, well, it hasn't showed up, I've picked it up, and these are the fluted guards we're having. So if you do see through these gaps, I do want it to be a bit blackened. So next episode's body kit. See you all later.